Hi Aries, welcome to your September 2018 tarot reading. It's Rena here, just shuffling the cards. Let's see what we get here. Put them out. Ta-da! That'll be the first one. And this will be the okay. I'm already seeing kind of a pattern here. Yep. Okay. Well, one good thing is that these are all minor arcana cards, Aries, so the effects of these cards are fleeting. It's kind of like a day-to-day kind of an influence for the month of September. I would definitely, if you want more information on September, check out my September astrology video for your sign. I've already posted that one. You can check on my channel for that. Because this, on the tarot side of things, it looks like there is a situation going on, I would say either with an inheritance or maybe like at work. This is I would say it's a money situation that's going on where you are getting bamboozled by co-workers, or yeah, it would be like, I think multiple people are involved. This is you at the heart of it all. And the Page of Cups is connected to Pisces, hence the fish swimming out of the cup. And actually, the Seven of Cups is connected to Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces. But anyway, with the Page of Cups, you may be trusting someone or some people in a very childlike, innocent way. And yet, these people are, pulling the wool over your eyes. The Seven of Cups is at the base of this reading, so this could be the past. And it's all about confusion, wishful thinking, and, admonishing people to make the right choice. So it could be that you have, maybe you were hoping that somebody would be a certain way because you wanted to see them that way, and they're really not. Trusting in the wrong person can be involved. By the way, actually, it could even be like siblings that are these people that are being very deceptive. If you come from a dysfunctional family and there were like favorites and a lot of different factions, people talking behind each other's backs and stuff like that, triangulation. So we have here as the challenge the Ten of Pentacles, which is the card of inheritance. This is in the challenge position. Something isn't going smoothly in this area, or this could be, family money. So even if somebody didn't die, if one of your parents were going to give out money, maybe they gave it to a sibling just because they favored that person. And but I feel like whatever the situation is, somebody is trying to mischaracterize you or do something to make you look bad. And so it's not just a simple thing of being passed over by somebody else due to favoritism, but they may be doing an active poisoning of the well, because we have two the two sketchy cards, and one is the Seven of Swords, one is the Five of Swords, and both of them, because they're swords, relate to communication too. So also with the Ten of Pentacles, it's possible that this was some kind of a, what do they call that? I was going to say get rich quick scheme, but those kind of things where you have a ground floor opportunity, maybe a pyramid scheme or something like that, where you got taken advantage of because you wanted it quickly. Aries is a sign they want things right away, and if you combine that and being naive, that can lead to trusting the wrong person who tells you how great it is, and it's really, a con job. As the higher message, we have the Seven of Swords, and this is a card of one possible interpretation is somebody stealing your money, or just stealing your resources. So this person is a thief who is doing this, and maybe because they also happen to be a partner or a friend or a sibling, you are in denial over it. I think the Page of Cups could be showing that denial as well as this card. That is unfortunate if you are in that state, because you may not be able to really wrap your brain around it. You may have an overly idealized opinion of this person that is not warranted based upon even past actions. Maybe you've seen them act in a dishonest way to somebody else, but you never thought they would do it to you, and now you have found out the truth. As a spiritual message, though, I always go back to the person themselves, okay? And I would bring in this card as well. Now, you notice one thing in common that the Seven of Swords has with the Seven of Cups, or maybe, they're both sevens. The number 7 is a number of mysticism, and strangely enough, the mind of a scientist. It can be, I think it can also be an artistic influence. But the point is that the number 7 is a spiritual number. And yet both of these cards are basically, to me, showing that you are not, and especially this one, and I think it's because the cups are involved, so the emotions get involved, showing this idea of kind of maybe not, of having a distorted thought process. And this being because you don't want to deal with what is going on. I mean, it's hard for you to handle it. And the thing with the Seven of Swords as a spiritual card is looking at what happens when you're in a relationship and you notice certain behaviors that are not how they should be. Do you look the other way? Or do you really try to confront it? Because some people are in relationships, even with people who are cheating. Now, that's another thing that the Seven of Swords can be like, infidelity too. And maybe it's saying you knew this person was cheating in terms of like being unfaithful, and so you should have known that they were untrustworthy. And maybe that's something that is a pattern with some Aries people, where they find that they're always with people who are untrustworthy. And at some point, it all comes down to this, your judgment. Do you have good judgment? Are you having physical relationships with people very soon after you meet them, and that is clouding your judgment. You know what I mean? So things like that are worth thinking about, because even though, you know, there's a saying in our society now, blame the victim, right? And we're supposed to just heap sympathy on the person who is taking the brunt of whatever the bad behavior is. But when one person characterizes another as a victim, that person is rendered weak. And it almost makes you think, well, why me? If I'm not responsible, then am I just cursed? And that doesn't make sense. Of course not. There has to be looking at the situation from the standpoint of being very willing to admit that perhaps you have not exercised good judgment, and moving on. And another thing too I want to say about that Seven of Swords, which is the interpretation I like for you, is that it may be saying that if you find out that somebody has been underhanded with you, Aries, your first impulse may be to blow your stack, to make a big dramatic display over this. The Seven of Swords is also about going your own way, but leaving in a sly way. So you want to leave in a way where, you know, you might not even tell the person that you know what they did. You may just exit the scene, because if you're dealing with a con artist, they may still, you know, fool you and say, oh, no, you don't understand. They could be great liars. So getting out is sometimes something that you have to really think about. And a lot of Aries people are very straightforward. It's funny that they're associated with, you know, the military, because to be like very cunning, you sometimes have to not reveal everything to that person, what you're going to do. And so the practical advice is represented by the Five of Swords. This is a card, I don't know if this is advice or just showing it on the mundane level, that these people are, you know, and there's maybe more than one person that they are trying to sabotage you. Also, another thing too is this is a card of empty victory. So if you feel anger rising up about a situation where you feel that you were taken advantage of, understand that it is an empty victory. Maybe they did pull a fast one, but ultimately they have to live with their actions. And you can't feel really good about yourself if you're going around doing that. So, you know, swallow your pride and don't continue to invest energy in a person or people who are obviously not on your side. Another thing that this card could be suggesting is really knowing that these are not your friends. So if this is like a workplace situation and there are coworkers who I don't want to make you paranoid, Aries, so this would have to be something you resonate with. But if you find out that your coworkers have been plotting against you, so to speak, what you can just simply do is, I was going to say play along, but I don't mean, yeah, I mean, it is kind of like playing along. Just like keep doing what you're doing, but stay a bit aloof from them. Not being cold, but just kind of not hanging around them, because you don't want to give them any more ability to be in your life, or to have any kind of access to what your plans are, or they can get inside information on you. So you just kind of stay above the fray. And until, if you do decide that you want to leave this environment, until you do so, that you don't trust anybody with your plans, and therefore be be vulnerable to them doing this again. I'm getting a little bit distracted because I'm hearing out the window the sounds of children. I wonder if they're going back to school. I mean, I'm recording this on a Friday, but yeah, stranger things have happened, I guess. The Hangman is in the position of what is to come. This is a waiting period. This is kind of being in limbo. So this goes along with what I'm saying. And by the way, the Five of Swords is also in play if this is in your family. Sad to say, you may have family members who you thought that could be trusted, and they are moles. They are like informants. They call them flying monkeys when you're talking about a narcissistic system. But these people sometimes are just the information gatherers. So they're like the moles, the spies. So in order to kind of like make that transition from whatever the situation is, one to the other, you may have to deal with some kind of waiting period, and also surrender. This is a great card for surrender. It's a passive card. So Aries is a cardinal sign, and you tend to want to do something about whatever your problem is. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes there's nothing you can do but wait. And you're not just waiting, hopefully waiting, because that's kind of what the Page of Cups was. It was a card of like hoping that was coming from a place of wishful thinking that wasn't really based in reality. Okay? Now, I want to say something before I do the last card. I want to say that this could be a personal relationship. I'm sorry that I didn't mention that earlier. Some people might have clicked off because I started talking about money and stuff like that, because the Ten of Pentacles, that could be like a Capricorn individual. Maybe that's a person, Capricorn is a sign that I don't associate with all this kind of bad behavior, but it can happen with any sign. So it's an earth sign energy. The other earth signs are Taurus and Virgo. And that person may be cheating, and they may be simply telling others, like if this is a partner, I mean like a marriage partner, a committed partner, they may be telling the other party or parties, oh yes, she's cold, or she's too ambitious, and she's never there for me, and telling them lies to get them to believe that it's okay to cheat, if they know that you guys are married, that is. And the outcome is the Four of Cups, and this is a card of one thing, you see the clouds offering this person a cup, and the person's stone-faced. This can be a card of this person may catch on that you're being aloof, and this is a very important part of the whole situation here, Aries. Sometimes when you pull back from someone, whether it's a partner who's cheating or a coworker who's trying to take over and kind of like, to me, steal your money because they're trying to prevent you from getting a promotion, and that would come with more money and power. That other person senses it, because you go from being the Page of Cups to this person who's kind of like disinterested, and they're like, whoa, what's happening? Why is this person doing this? That starts getting their wheels turning, and they may start to get extra friendly. They may start to act like buddy-buddy with you again. And it's up to you to not really, to be neutral. They call this the gray rock technique in the narcissism community. And basically what you're doing is you're communicating with a person. This could be in any area of your life. It could be family, it could be friends, or it could be in the workplace. And it's not about like the silent treatment, and it's not about being mean to anybody. It's about being neutral and not giving up any information. So if somebody says, oh, wow, somebody at work says, hey, how's it going? Are you still planning on getting that degree so that you can, do this, and saying, oh, everything is going great, but you don't divulge any information. That's probably a bad example because they're asking for specific information. And you would have to really think about that one and strategize what they may ask and what you'll say, because sometimes you can get away with not answering somebody's questions, but if they're persistent enough, then you could just say something like, well, I'm going to school, but I'm not really sure, what is what, because I don't believe in lying, but you can be very creative in how you present things so that you don't really reveal what your plans are. And that way there's no way that they can kind of ferret information from you to use against you. I mean, that's the bottom line. And the same thing if you have decided that your marriage is dead, you're using the gray rock technique. The person may start to get nicer when before they were doing something that was, maybe they were even being negative towards you verbally, and all of a sudden they start to get nice to you. That's one of the signs that you know that they're onto you, because they're changing their tactics. So it's sad that I have to talk about this like, oh wow, what's going to be your next move? Because it's like, when you're dealing with people that you have to think like that, they're obviously toxic people, and they're playing games. They're not having real relationships. They're playing games. So these are definitely not people that you want to associate with. But sometimes getting out of that association takes a lot of cunning, and that's what this reading is all about, Aries. Okay, well, I hope that this resonated for some of you. If you'd like a private reading, which is more targeted towards you, especially with my astrological readings, my astrology readings, please click on the link below. I hope you have a wonderful September. Bye.